Welcome to Magic Arcanum, and welcome to Kamigawa, a plane Magic hasn't visited in over 15 years, so here's everything you need to know before you crack that first booster of Neon Dynasty. In 2004, Yeah by Usher was the top song in the country, and Champions of Kamigawa introduced us to a plane inspired by Japanese mythology and folklore. The story revolved around the Kami War, in which vengeful spirits, led by O Kagachi, attempted to reclaim that which was taken from them by Kanda, who had imprisoned the child of the mighty dragon within a stone disc, thinking it was the best way to ensure peace between the mortal and spirit realms. Well, he was wrong, and the plane spent the next 20 years at war until Kanda's own daughter Michiko managed to smooth things over thanks to some help from her unlikely allies, including Toshiro Umezawa. Samurai like Toshiro featured the Bushido mechanic, which improved their power and toughness when they entered combat with opposing creatures. You could avoid such direct confrontations by using ninjutsu, which replaced your innocent-looking unblocked attackers with a much more dangerous ninja, all having abilities that triggered on dealing combat damage to players. Meanwhile, these spirits, or kami, had their own tricks, starting with the ability to soul shift and effectively come back in a different form after their own death. They could also use their mastery of arcane magic to splice certain spell effects together, creating customized instants and sorceries. But perhaps the most noteworthy part of the original Kamigawa block was the overwhelming number of legendary cards. It wasn't just creatures either. We saw the game's first legendary enchantments with the Honden cycle. The effectiveness of these shrines would increase based on how many of them you controlled. Then came the Ascendants, 5 legendary monks who would flip into enchantments when their respective conditions were met. So this is probably a good time to address those flip cards, which were an interesting concept, but played poorly on tabletops. Since creatures usually need to tap when attacking, maintaining the correct orientation of your flippers was often a confusing mess. This problem would be solved years later with the transforming cards of Innistrad, making it much easier to track the state of your permanents as they became werewolves or vampires. Not that you'll find any of those on Kamigawa. The plane has its own rather interesting group of creature types spread out across a diverse landscape, so let's take a quick tour. Smack in the middle of everything are the Tawabara Plains and Eiganjo Castle. White is also the primary color of the Kitsune, foxes with strong beliefs and traditions who are mostly friendly towards the plains humans. To the north, you'll find Minamo Academy, a school built upon a huge waterfall, and it's staffed by the Soratami, moonfolk who yearn to know everything there is to know about their home plane. And for one of them, even that wasn't enough. Tamio has been making her way around the multiverse, filling scroll after scroll with her notes. Head west and you'll come to Takanuma, a large swampland where the Nezumi, or rat folk, make their homes. Many of them are ninja, but we're told that 4 generations ago, one managed to steal a scroll from Minamo, which led to Nezumi shamans being born. The Sokanzan Mountains are in the south, and that's where we'll find the plains goblins called Aki. They're highly territorial and every bit as mischievous as their cousins from around the multiverse, often counting on their turtle-like shell to protect them from their own self-destructive pranks. And finally, to the east, you'll find the Yukai Forest, populated with monks, as well as the Orachi, snake people with a paralyzing bite that will leave opposing creatures tapped after combat. Now, Neon Dynasty takes place more than 1,000 years after the conclusion of the Kami War, so it's hard to say how much the original plot will influence things here, but we can expect some aspects of Kamigawa to remain unchanged. Kami will still be present, though mostly living in the forests and less populated areas, avoiding the increasingly technology-driven population centers that have developed in the last century. We've been told it's a time of turmoil. The spirit and mortal realms will soon merge into one existence, and the Emperor of Kamigawa has recently gone missing, leaving lots of unanswered questions about the future of the plane. Will Kaito, the new ninja planeswalker, be able to locate the missing emperor? Will Kami and mortals enter a new period of conflict as their realms collide? Will we get a new spirit dragon that's just as busted in Commander as its predecessor? Let me know what you think down in the comments, then make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the great stories you'll only find here on Magic Arcanum. I'm Ryan Gomez, behind the scenes is Nicole Burdick, and we'll see ya